a week of astrology. It's great to be back with you. And I'm going to take you through two features of this week, which is from the 24th to the 30th of November. And that is that we have two planets stationing direct. So this is going to give so much sweet relief to anything that's felt heavy, felt stuck, stagnant, or just lacking that movement and momentum, as well as anything that's been confusing, frustrating, loaded with delays, hiccups, and redos. So this week, not only does it bring the transition from November to December, I think these station directs are also going to help us focus forward, not only through the end of 2025, but also moving forward into the bigger picture of 2026. Reason being is that Saturn is going to station direct this weekend, 28th, 29th, 30th, across those few days. It's going to station direct at 25 degrees of Pisces. Now, Saturn's not going to do that for decades until we get to Saturn in Pisces again around 30 years' time. So not only is that in of itself significant, it's also going to see Saturn turning its attention or its focus towards some really significant new beginnings that will start in February when it moves into Aries and then will conjoin Neptune at 0 degrees, forming the once in every sort of 35 to 37 year conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. So that is a massive influence, but this week it kind of feels though Saturn is it's done what it's came to do in Pisces, and now it's going to start moving forward towards Aries. So this week on the weekend, it's going to station at 25 degrees. And yes, it's still going to wrap up its time in Pisces, but I would say for the most part, the work is done. It might just be about tying off loose ends. It might be about executing some final boundaries, structures, systems, or things in your life according to your Pisces house. So, say for example, Pisces is my midheaven, and I'm launching a new website, hopefully sometime this week. So, I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel to something that has been in the making or something I've actually wanted to do for quite some time. We also have Mercury stationing direct in Scorpio, and that will happen at 20 degrees over the course of the weekend as well. So this is, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be quite as monumental as Saturn, but it is certainly going to bring some relief to the Mercury retrograde hiccups, delays, confusion, frustrations, particularly around your Scorpio and even to some extent your Sagittarius house as well. These two planets are stationing direct in water, and we've had a lot of water in the sky since late October. We've gone through Trine City, that is for sure. And we have a little bit to go this week and a little bit in December. But the good news is that those water trines are going to shift into mutable squares. So there's going to be a little bit more sort of agitation, I would say, in December, but it will be less heavy and less emotional. So, when we're talking about two planets stationing direct, it is said that a planet, well, when a planet stations, it is the most intense. And so, if you do have a planet or an angle at 25 Pisces or at 20 degrees of Scorpio, then this is going to be a significant turnaround week for you. This will help you wrap up a 2 year chapter in terms of your Pisces house in particular, when Saturn first arrived there in March of 2023. In some ways, it might even help you book and wrap up, close, put a bow on, shut the gate on, whatever analogy you want to use, around that house that has been in play since 2011 and Neptune's tour of Pisces. So there's massive endings, massive closures, and massive completions, I think will come through with Saturn. Saturn is the last planet we see with the naked eye. Saturn is the gatekeeper of the visible universe. And it speaks to things that no one escapes. the sense of time, weight, gravity, pressure, death and taxes, those kinds of things, the aging process. And so when it starts to station direct, we can turn our attention away from the reflective quality of Saturn. And sometimes the direct station, the reason why it's intense, it's kind of a little bit of game is back on. When Saturn retrogrades, it can sort of mean we get a little bit of a reversal from the weight, the time, the pressure. And we just get a little bit of it's almost as though you've been benched on the game for a little while, and then the coach calls you back on. It's like game on. So, game will be back on, particularly for the Pisces era of your life, and it might help you wrap things up, put those bows, shut the gates, and all of those kind of things over the course of the next couple of months. With the energy of water, we're thinking about the temperament of phlegmatic. Now, I like to work with temperaments. I think it can tell us, a little bit more than just kind of the planet sign combinations and the overall temperament of a person, for instance. When we're talking about water, we're talking about patience. And I think this is something that a lot of people have had to embody over the course of these water trines because we got a taste of Aries earlier this year. We got a taste of the clarity and the fire and the momentum and the movement, but we knew we were coming back to this. So it felt like we couldn't fully rush ahead or we couldn't fully um, dive into the next chapter because we were coming back to Pisces. With all of these additional water trines to boot, patience can sometimes be frustrating because most people want everything now. Most people don't like, we can wait a bit, but we don't like to wait too long. And so, if you have been patient, if you have done the Saturnian work, if you've done what you have to do according to your Pisces house, sometimes patience really does pay off. So if you felt that the treading water, you're tired, you're fatigued, maybe you just feel completely overwhelmed, there will be this sense with Saturn stationing direct that it's almost this one last gushing tide, that one more king tide, and then it's going to wash back out. And once Saturn starts to get a little bit of momentum away from 25 degrees and starts getting closer to the Aries cusp, you will start to see the rewards of your patience. You'll start to see the rewards of all of the things that you've had to do in respect to your Pisces house since early 2023. And this is sort of the funky and the frustrating part with patience. It's the rewards over time. And that's what Saturn brings. It doesn't bring hard and fast, quick wins, shortcuts. It's that perseverance, patience, and the long game. And that's one quality I think it can perform reasonably well in a water sign is the element of patience. No doubt we're kind of over being that and we're ready for the next chapters. I know I most certainly am. So this process of drying out will take a little bit of time, but it is this sense that, okay, Saturn's turning around. It's now going to be facing forward towards Aries. And we can start to maybe swim back to shore. We can start to swim back to the sand and to the land and start to almost set our sights for the next Saturn story. And for all of us, that of course is going to be in the sign of Aries. So something that's been heavy, something that's been stagnant, something that could have been really overwhelming, emotional, and slow will start to shift and will start to return to kind of a clarity, but it will take some time. So that's something to really look forward to as we get through this week. If you, as I said, if I haven't said already, 25 degrees of Pisces is the hot spot. So if you've got angles or planets very close to that degree or that degree, you're really going to be feeling this one. Now, we also have Mercury stationing direct, all but at the same time. This is going to help you make more make choices that are clearer. Again, Scorpio is water. And if anything, Scorpio is the king, the queen of patience. It knows how to wait. It's that sort of snake in the grass that waits for the prey. It doesn't go out attacking. It waits to strike when the moment's right. And so Scorpio is very good at being patient. And as it has retrograded, we've had to practice a lot of patience, a lot of reflection, a lot of patience around any of those Mercury retrograde frustrations. And I think for a lot of people, this particular retrograde has been quite frustrating. If you recall, we had it stationed with Mars in Sagittarius. So it started the retrograde in Sag with Mars, and then it retrograded back into Scorpio. The good news this week, it will conjoin Venus. So whereas the retrograde began with Mars, and Mars is the planet of problems, it's not here to bring us benefit and blessings on a silver platter. It brings problems, battles, things to solve, things to do. But Mercury moving backwards just puts a spanner in the works at every turn. This week, we do see Mercury moving towards Venus and will make a conjunction at 22 degrees of Scorpio. So, this is the sense that even though we're not quite at the station yet, but there is this sense of a solution, deriving the answer to the problem, finding the right connection, having the right conversation. Maybe it's having a sense of trust or faith or gratitude for just all the little things that are going well for you. And this is what Venus can do. It is the appreciation of the little things that are going right. So even if you do have some larger scale problems, it can be really helpful to hone in your focus and think about, okay, well, what are the things that are going right? And how can I sort of double down on those ideas? Now, because of Mercury retrograde, I didn't get this video out quite as early as I wanted to, but I did want to show you a really beautiful feature early this week. It started over the weekend, actually, and that is the benefic enclosure of Mercury. Now, even though if you're going to work very technically with astrology, this will happen over a window, a time frame. And that time frame at the time of recording, it's lunchtime, Monday the 24th for me. So it'll be about 24 hours longer of that from that time, give or take. But given the fact that we're at the station, we're very close to the station degree, it's almost the idea that things are getting better. Mercury will conjoin Venus. Venus will then trine Jupiter. Venus will then trine Saturn. Saturn will station direct. I mean, it's all very onwards and upwards this week. So let's have a look at this to show you that this is just a really nice little something something, a little bit of extra cream in your coffee or whatever you want to, however you want to look at that. So essentially yesterday, Mercury moving retrograde trined Jupiter at 24 degrees. So Jupiter's at 24 and a bit, and then Mercury moving in reverse because it's retrograde is at 23. So it's just separating now. It looks like it's applying, but keeping in mind because Mercury is retrograde, it's separating. And so it's separating from Jupiter. So it's carrying this energy of Jupiter that is exalted in Cancer. So it's carrying the energy of hope, of inspiration, of things coming together, of the sense of the road rising to meet you. It's the sense of coherence, optimism, a buoyancy, or an inner knowing. This is a water trine. So is this sense of, I may not have all the logical solutions, but I have this knowing. I just know. It's this kind of clarity over logic. And then we have Mercury is then applying to Venus, and they will conjoin when they both get to 22 degrees, which will also form a tight trine to Jupiter. So because Mercury is essentially moving between the space of 24 and 22, it is basically taking the energy of Jupiter and giving it to Venus. And it's kind of sandwiched between two benefics. So Mercury is getting a cosmic cuddle right now. So that's going to be helpful for the mercurial things in our lives. It's going to be helpful for the Mercury house. And it's also going to help you as Mercury stations direct. It's going to help you maybe trust that you've got the right solution, the right support, the right outcomes, that maybe any of the tension, the struggle, the uncertainty, the rip your hair out moments that you might have experienced through the retrograde, there's a method in the madness. But we have to also be somewhat optimistic. We have to be somewhat benevolent and hopeful. We can't be miserable about this. We can't expect solutions with the same mindset that created the problem, right? So this is going to help us think above and beyond the current situation, looking towards the light at the end of the tunnel, which is very much what Saturn's about, and of course, very much what this Mercury enclosed by benefics is also about. Now, we also have a little bonus from the moon. It's not there yet, according to this chart. But what you'll see is that I'm just going to flick this around quickly. You'll also see that the moon will also be a little bonus to this energy as well, because it will sextile it will make a sextile as this is also happening, right? So the moon in these types of electional situations will just kind of add a signal boost. So it's going to sextile Mercury and Venus as it opposes Jupiter, and Jupiter is in the sign of the moon and exalted. So there's just this little extra something something over the course of these couple of days. So this obviously there is a window here, but I do think it is going to carry throughout this week because Venus, as I already mentioned, will then just move to trine Saturn and also Jupiter. So there's a lot of goodness in this week, but we might just have to consciously be aware of it. Yes, there might just be a few obstacles to overcome. There might be a few crosses to or boxes to tick and I's to dot and T's to cross and all of that sort of stuff. So for me, my midheaven is actually at 25 Pisces. And so a big part of what this retrograde has been for me is the creation of a new website. So I'm hoping that it will be ready sometime this week with this kind of bona fide and extra special energy. But I thought I would also take the opportunity to use this bonification of Mercury, which is my ascendant ruler and time lord and all of those sorts of things, to offer you a Black Friday discount. It's that time of year. So whether it's the new site or the old site, all you'll need to do is put in BF 2025, so Black Friday 2025, and that will give you 20% off of a consultation or an astrology reading and any of the downloadable webinars and trainings that are on the website. So I would like to take this opportunity as well to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving if you're watching from the US. I know this is a special holiday for you all and big celebrations. So if you are wanting to have a look at the astrology of 2026, or you're wanting to have a reading for yourself, or you want to gift it to somebody, BF 2025 is the code to use. And I would really look forward to sharing some astrology with you, whether you choose to invest in a package with a fat discount or you are just wanting to have a little check-in or check-up of your astrology for the year ahead. So with that all being said, I really do hope you have a great week, that this week really infuses you with solutions and possibilities after a period of overwhelm, sluggishness, patience, and a little frustration as well. So I really do think things will go onwards and upwards from here. So until next time, I hope you have a really great week, and I'll catch you in the next video.